Journal, July 4th, 2029. I had been staying in the carriage house again. After the great haunting in the fall of 28, it seemed like the right thing to do. I awoke sharply from my early morning nap. Did someone knock on the front door? But that wouldn't make sense. Not at all. I pulled the robe I had taken from the Palmer house a few years back over my t-shirt and shorts, stepped into my lime green flip-flops, and walked to the door. There wasn't a soul to be seen. Must have been a dream. I awoke sharply from my mid-morning nap. Did someone knock on my door and yell the words, "Look down"? But how could... Again, I pulled the Palmer House robe over my t-shirt and shorts, glided into my lime green flip-flops, and walked to the door. Not a soul in sight. Just as I was about to close the door, I heard the echo of the voice that shouted, "Look down." So I did. Moments later, while sipping from a glass of cucumber water, I stared at the envelope on the kitchen table. It was an invitation-sized envelope, maybe 4 3/4 inches by 6 1/4. Written on the envelope, in what appeared to be actual handwriting, was the name Johnny. I opened the invitation. "Hello, Mr. Winjoe. You have been cordially invited to a 4th of July gathering. Please pack a bag for 2 to 3 days. There will be a limousine on the street in front of your house at 11:45 a.m. I looked at the clock on the wall. It was 9 a.m. Plenty of time for a quick nap before packing. At 11:43 a.m., I put my Jansport backpack over my right shoulder, closed and locked the front door to the carriage house, and made my way to the limo. It was a big car, and the rear passenger side door opened all on its own. The partition between the spacious passenger area and the front seats was a solid 70s brown. The window on the partition behind the driver's seat was opaque. The limo was self-driving, like most everything else. I kept an eye on the street signs as they passed by. We were getting close to the lake. The limo stopped at Sheridan Road before turning left. I was headed north. Halfway through Wilmette, a whirring mechanical noise began emanating from the center of the partition. Then, a slot opened up, and another invitation-sized envelope was gently pushed through it. I took the envelope and opened it as the slot closed. "Hello, Johnny. Don't you think people would be surprised if they knew how many small airports and airfields there are in this country? Everyone's always gabbing about the big ones like O'Hare or LaGuardia or that entrance to hell in Denver. But there are so many smaller ones that are less, let's just say, monitored. Hope you're enjoying the car ride." That's when I knew where the limo was going. About 40 minutes later, I, arrived at Waukegan National Airport. Somewhat to my amazement, the limo jumped a couple of healthy-sized curbs and made its way onto the larger of 2 runways. I looked out the window and saw a private jet. After the limo came to a complete stop, the passenger side rear door opened itself again. I took hold of my Jansport, exited the vehicle, and walked toward the jet. The interior of the jet was lovely, a lighter brown than the limo, almost tan, I suppose. The seats were downright luxurious, probably a fake leather, but still. There were also 2 seemingly comfy couches facing each other on the sides of the interior. I had the feeling I would be flying alone, so what the heck? I took the cushions off one of the couches and laid down on it, but my ankles and feet hung over the arm. The couch wasn't long enough for me. This happens a lot. I made my way to the cockpit door. There was a little window, and I could see through it. Huh. My first pilotless flight. I sat back down in the perfect recliner, and the black flat screen to the left of the cockpit door, which, to be honest, I hadn't even noticed, lit up. Though she was only visible from the clavicle up, the woman on the flat screen looked very professional. Somehow she had married a kind of light pinkish scarf to her deep brown collared shirt. And let me tell you, it was a healthy marriage. She spoke. "Hello, Mr. Winjo. We are about to take off. But before we do, I'd like you to do me a big old favor. I'd like you to reach into that pocket on the outside of the recliner and pull out what's in there. Now, Mr. Winjo, what you've got there is a sort of little mask sealed in a clear plastic wrap. Go ahead and break the seal on the plastic wrap. You'll notice it looks like one of those CPAP masks that were all the rage back in the day, minus the tubes, of course. What I want you to do is put that mask on your face so it covers your nose and your mouth. Now, I want you to take 4 or 5 big inhales and exhales, Mr. Winjo. Can you do that for me?" "Yes," I thought. "Yes, I can." When I came to, I was in a very compact but brilliantly laid out hotel room. I was on my back in a single-sized bed that was miraculously, finally long enough. I sat up. There was a black flat screen on the wall I was facing. It lit up. On the screen was the same immaculately attired woman from the screen on the plane. "Hi there, Johnny. How are you feeling? Maybe a little groggy? Boy, you really know how to deeply inhale and exhale. To be honest, you overslept a bit, and now we've got to get you moving, or you'll be late. In the bathroom, you'll find all of the amenities you brought put away nicely, and your clothes are in that little closet, along with your JanSport. What I need you to do now is clean yourself up a little, and maybe change your clothes, certainly the shirt. See you in a bit." I got off the bed and made my way to the bathroom. About 10 minutes later, I sat back down on the bed. The flat screen lit up. "Great job, Mr. Winjo. Now, can you do me a favor and open the drawer to the nightstand?" There was another mask, sealed in plastic. "You know the drill, Johnny, but maybe only 1 or 2 deep inhale exhales this time, okay?" When I came to, I was in a very spacious, very old room. I was sitting on a dark green chair that had clearly been recently upholstered. I stood up and made my way around the room. All of the furniture could have been from the mid-19th century. There was a fainting couch in one of the corners. The floors were made of wood and had some give, or maybe they felt a little bit uneven. Everything in the room appeared to be an antique, relics from well over a century ago. I walked to the enormous bay window. The room was on the 2nd or even 3rd floor of a mansion on a sizable plot of land. The grass was lush for as far as I could see. For a moment, I took stock of the trees, and then realized how humid it was. I had noticed a tray with some glasses and a carafe of water. I turned from the view and walked to it. When I sat back down in the chair I woke up on, I noticed a black flat screen on the wall. Had that been there before? It lit up. It was the same woman. "Oh, I'm so glad you helped yourself to the water.
Of course you're not used to the weather down here.
Can I ask you a question? I said.
You just did, didn't you?
Oh, huh. Can I ask another one?
Usually, Johnny, I'd be pleased as punch to answer as many questions as you've got rattling around that noggin of yours. But right now, I can't.
Why?
Because Ms. Lindell is here.
I heard the doorknob on the only door into or out of the room turn and rattle a little. I'm sorry, I said. I don't know who that is. I'm terrible with names.
Ms. Deborah Ann Lindell. She's here now. Goodbye.